Hey, how you doing? Scott again here from Scott's Bass Lessons. Hope you're well. If you haven't been to scotsbasslessons.com yet, make sure you do so straight after this lesson, because there is literally hours and hours and hours of videos just like this one, and they're all for free for you to check out. And they range from like beginner stuff right up to, you know, soloing concepts and all that kind of thing. So I'm 100% sure, 110% sure that you will find something there that you're going to be into. Today, I'm going to be talking about two different ways that I use to play out. Now, I've been getting a lot of emails about people asking how to play out. Now, if you're not sure what playing out is, let's talk about what playing in is first. So playing in is playing within the sound of a chord. So if it was a C major chord, for instance, we would play within that sound. That's playing in. Playing out is where you step out of that sound, and pretty much what it is it's creating dissonance in your soloing line. And there is loads and loads of ways to do this. In fact, there's so many ways to do this. So what I've done is, and what I get my students to do, is learn a line, a melody, or a lick, if you want to call it a lick. Learn a melody or a line that has an out element within it. Okay, and this does two different things. One, it helps you understand how to actually play it. So that's the first thing that it does. Actually playing out, there's a few little different techniques you can use to play it out. The second thing is it helps your ear, and this is the most important thing, is your ear accept almost the out sound. And then it's when your ear understands what's going on that you'll be able to do this on the bass. It's so hard to do this if you're just kind of forcing it in. You know, you just go like, oh, I'm going to play out. And it almost sounds forced. And you don't want that. You want to be playing what you're hearing in your ear. You know, you want to be following the line that you want to be playing, or want to be composing while you're playing, because that's all soloing is. It's kind of composing on the spot, right? So the best way to do this is take a lick and learn it. And by doing this, you're going to get the techniques that you need under your fingers, and then be able to transfer them to other melodies, or like when you're improvising, you'll be able to drop into them and out of them. But also, it's really going to help your ear sort of, you know, accept that out sound. So the lick that we're going to be working on today is in C minor. And the C minor arpeggio, let's just have a look at that. First of all, is, well, it can be played in many different positions. You probably know it in this one, which is C, E flat, G, B flat, C. That's probably the position you know. And then we could go up here as well. But look, there's also one here as well. Same thing, C, E flat, G, B flat, C. And then there's an E flat here. So we've got it here. Oh. And then it's also here. So it's going from the C there. But I'm going down here because these notes are in the C major arpeggio. Here's even though this is the C here, the C minor, the B flat is just an octave from there. The G is the G is the fifth of C, and then the E flat down here is the minor third of C. So even though it's not in that shape there, it's still in the arpeggio. So this lick that we're going to look at is going to use that entire section of the fingerboard. It's going to go over the entire thing. I'm going to play it for you relatively at a normal speed first, and then we're going to break it down. Okay, so this is what it sounds like at a normal speed. There's the C minor sound. Once more. bit faster. And there's the C minor there. So let's break that down, okay? Let's look at what I'm doing and why it sounds out. There's 2 different techniques I'm using, or maybe 3. We'll see as we go along. So it starts on the minor 3rd, and it starts right off, bang, straight out, because I'm going to the major 7 there of the C. I'm using a B. And that B is not in the C minor sound. So it's E flat, B, D, B, ba doo ba boo boo. That's the first little phrase of this lick. And I use that far too much. I love the sound of the major 7 of the C over the minor 7 chord. It just gives you a great tension. And it works because even though it's not in the chord, it's the tension and release thing. That's why these out things work. You know, when you're playing out, you'd never hear somebody play out and then just stop. They'll play out and then they'll slide into the chord back in, and it's that tension and release that makes it work. Okay, so the first phrase of the lick. Yeah. And then we're just going up the C minor scale there actually. So E flat, B, D, B, D, D. Oh, C, I'm saying D's instead of C's. We'll start again. E flat, B, D, B, C, D, E flat, F. Now this is where one of my little tricks of playing out comes into play here. And all it is it's this shape here. So here the shape is F sharp to a G sharp. And what I'm going to do is start moving that around chromatically. So you'll hear it now. Okay, so I could go. Okay. But as long as I go back into the C minor, it makes it work. It's that transition back into the chord that makes it work. So back to this lick, first phrase, then slide with a little finger, and then play that G sharp there. Then back to the F sharp, slide again, then play the A, then back to here, back to the G, slide again. Let's do that. So let's take it right up to that A flat. And again. Once more. Now, when I get to this A flat, what I'm doing is I'm actually taking from the G7 chord, which is the 5 chord of the C minor. Okay, so in C minor, the 5 chord of C minor would be a G7 altered, and I'm playing A flat, B, and E flat. Okay, so I'm almost treating, it's like basically a melodic minor substitution. It doesn't matter if you don't understand this completely yet. If you don't understand it, get the lick under your fingers, get used to the sound, and then look into how it's actually working, the technical side of it. But just for now, if you do understand what's happening, all I'm doing is it's a melodic, like a minor major 7, A flat minor major 7, which is A flat, B, E flat, and now I'm stretching. Oh, let's see. Yeah. So it's an A flat minor major 7 arpeggio over the G7, which is giving us that altered sound. So let's take it right up to that G there. Once more. And then from here, I'm sliding right up to the major 7 again of the C minor, which isn't in the chord, but I'm using it as an out sound. I'm moving right up there, and then pulling off to the 5th of the C minor, and then back down to the major 7 of that C minor again. We've got like an augmented arpeggio here, but it's G, which is the 5th of C minor, E flat, which is the 3rd of C minor, then I'm hitting that major 7 again. Remember I said before I use this all the time. So let's get it to that point. Once more. Yeah. So the next bit is, so we go down, and then this pattern starts again. Remember this pattern we used here? Same pattern. And then up the C minor. Up the C minor scale. Then we fall upon this pattern again. So let's go down from here. Up the C minor scale. C, D, E flat, F, slide, A flat, back to the F sharp, slide, A, and then chromatically up to the C. So this entire section here will be slower, so let's hear that with the backing track. So here it is super slow with the backing track. Once again. When you're trying to get something like this under your fingers, it really helps just to loop it round, just like I am now. Let's ramp up the speed a little bit more. And again. So can you hear it going out and in? First of all, that major 7, out, 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 in, out. Once again, out, in, out, out, in, out. Let's ramp up that speed a little bit more. And again. See, I'm just looping it round. Now, what you could do at home, if you're using this lick or you're using these little out techniques in your own licks, is just play in C minor a little bit and then try and drop in and out of them. I'll just show you what I'm talking about right here. Here's that major 7. Here we go. That was a lot of just moving them things around chromatically. There we go again. major 7. I'll play it on the G7, so the G7, remember, is the 5 chord of C minor, so I can use an altered sound over that G7, like a superimposition almost, so I can play A flat minor major 7. There we go again. Chromatic shapes. So there you can see I've got a couple of different, well, 3 I think, different ways of how I can play out, how I can make my lines sound a little bit, you know, more chaotic and more dissonant, and then I can kind of sort of like swoop back into playing inside. The first one I used was the major 7 on the minor 7 chord, which is a great thing to do. So you've got a minor 7, obviously all the C minor chord tones, and then every now and again dropping on that major 7. There we go. You can't really resolve on it, you've kind of just got to drop onto it like, you know, spice in your food. There we go again. Again. So it's something you can use on minor 7 chords. You can hit that major 7 on the minor 7. Gives you that tonality. The other thing I was doing is using that chromatic shape, and this is something I really love using. This, I love that kind of sort of like chaotic sound about it. And all I'm doing is it's that shape. So you've got, say for instance, first finger on a G, and then your little finger 4 frets up and 1 string down on the F, and all it is I haven't really got a picking pattern for that. I just kind of randomly play what comes into my head, but you can get these lines like, and then obviously back in. So if it was going back into C minor, that was it going back into C minor. And then the last and probably more complex one that I used is I took the C minor and I substituted on top of that a G7 altered. And to get the G7 altered sound, I really like to use the minor major 7 from a semitone above. Oh, turns your brain to soup, doesn't it? So don't worry, I don't think about this stuff while I'm playing. I've practiced it so much that you can kind of hear it. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, there is no way I'll ever be able to do that, you know, my brain doesn't work that fast. Don't worry, neither does mine. I've practiced this stuff at home, got the sound into my ear knows that what shape it is on the fretboard, and then I assign the shape to the sound that I want to produce. Does that make sense? Yeah, I assign the shape to the sound I want to produce. I'm not kind of doing brain gymnastics or anything like that. And that would sound like, for instance, so this is the A flat minor major 7 over a G7 altered, which is substituted on top of the C minor. Blah, blah, blah. So this is this kind of, that kind of sound. There's loads of different types of ways of playing out. As I said at the beginning of this video, there's other ones, too many to go into almost. You know, there's this one, I love this stacking fourths kind of thing. That sounds awesome. There's this one. I love that one actually. Kind of 2 different lines going in opposite directions. We'll cover that in future tutorials. Anyway, hopefully you really enjoyed this lesson. If you have done, make sure you click the like button below. It really helps when you spread the word about Scott's bass lessons. Make sure you go to the website and download the backing track for this lesson so you can get this into your playing. It's really important that you play this, these melodies along with a backing track. Then your ear can hear what it sounds like with the foundation of a chord underneath. Whereas if you were just playing it without that chord underneath, it can be a little bit ambiguous. Take it easy. I'll see you soon. Get in the shed.